Hey guys, so I just wanted to give you some helpful hints for your assignment today. There are only 5 practice problems that you will be completing. However, you do need to show your work for each of these problems. So you'll be getting half credit for showing your work and half credit for the correct answer. Okay, so even if you get all the answers wrong, as long as you show your work and show me your thought process, you will be getting some credit on this assignment. Okay. So before I give some hints, just wanted to point out your formulas for these problems are here in the description. They should also be in your notes, but they're in the description of this assignment. So we've got our kinetic energy, which is 1/2 times mass times velocity squared. And then we have our gravitational potential energy, which is equal to our mass times gravity times height. Remember, the gravity on Earth is 9.8 meters per second squared. Okay, so a lot of the times now that we're into these more challenging problems in this course, we're just going to go ahead and assume that you guys understand that the force of gravity on Earth is 9.8. That is a value that you have to know. So if that is confusing to you while you're doing these problems, just remember you always have the gravity because gravity is always 9.8 meters per second squared. Okay, and then also for the conservation of energy, remember that energy is conserved. It's neither created nor destroyed. So there's 2 different ways to represent this. So the initial kinetic energy plus the initial potential energy will be equal to the final kinetic energy plus the final potential energy. Also, this can be demonstrated as our GPE is equal to our kinetic energy. Okay, so our gravitational potential energy, or our M times G times H, will be equal to the 1/2 times mv squared. Okay, so we do have to keep that in mind because there are a couple problems here where we're going to have to put that into practice. Okay, so looking at these problems, again, there's just 5. When you pull this up, there will be a box here, and you will be able to show your work in the box. Okay, so again, you have to show your work to get half credit on each of these problems. You can insert equations so you can, make everything look really neat. Okay, so I should be able to follow your work. Also, it's really helpful if you will highlight your final answer so I can see at a glance your final answer for these questions. Okay. So you're using the text boxes to insert your work. Remember, you have to show your work and highlight your answers so I can see them easily. Okay, so question 1 is going to be a potential energy. So you'll use the potential energy formula. Question 2 is a conservation of energy question. You will need to use the conservation of energy formula that is right here. Okay, now for number 2, you are calculating the potential energy in question 1. Okay, so in question 1, you are going to take the potential energy that you calculate and you're going to set it equal to 1/2 mv squared. All right, so you will take whatever answer you get for question 1 and you will set it equal to that 1/2 mv squared. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Question 3 is a kinetic energy problem. Question 4 is a potential energy problem, so you'll just use that GPE. And then question 5 is going to be a conservation of energy problem. Okay, so it's going to give you the mass of the student, it's going to give you the speed, and then it's going to give you sorry about that, guys. I just had to read through the problem really quick. So it gives you the mass and the speed, and it wants you to calculate the height of this slide that he came down. Okay. Now, since this is conservation of energy, you are going to use that formula of the mgh is equal to 1/2 times mass times velocity squared. Okay. And remember, for this one, for that last question, you got to remember that gravity is 9.8, okay? So you're given everything you need, right? You've got the mass of the student, you've got the gravity, which is 9.8, you're solving for the height, and then for the kinetic energy, you have the velocity. So you have that velocity that you're going to plug in, okay? So you've got everything you need, you've got the formulas, You're going to show your work and then highlight the answer to your question. You do have 2 attempts on this assignment. So what I'm going to do is you'll submit your first attempt on the day that it's due. I will go back and review and I will give you any pointers or feedback. And then if you want to earn back credit on this assignment, you will be able to. Okay? If you have any questions, let me know. Remember, I'm always available at office hours if you need some help with these.